So welcome everyone to the 6th day of the path of purification, the end of the first week actually. Before we start the session, let's just step back into a few moments of silence. So very warm greetings to you all. And the speaker today is Jishnu Guha. He was born in Kolkata in a family devoted to Aurobindo and the mother. And he came in constant contact with, conscious contact with them when he was 16, and thereafter remained a student of the science of living. By training, he's a chartered accountant, and he studied management at the University of Southern California in the USA. He used to be actively involved, associated with the Sri Aurobindo Center in Los Angeles, and offered his time for their monthly newsletter. He considers work as his way of sadhana. It's very beautiful. So the title of his session is The Path of Purification, the Practice. I'm very much looking forward to Jishnu's session. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. I very much enjoy them myself. Okay, over to you, Jishnu.
Thank you, James, and welcome everyone. Those of you who are comfortable, please keep your camera on. It will help to connect better. And there is no compulsion. I'll just start sharing my screen. Can you all see my screen? James, can you see the screen?
Yep.
Okay, thank you so much. Just like previous sessions, I just made a presentation so that we follow some outline as we speak, as we progress in this path. And before I start the presentation, I want to share something. I purposely chose this spot because of the Aurobindo's photo, because I wanted to share this experience with you. Nothing else. It's a large size photo and I got from ashram, Pondicherry ashram. They had rolled it beautifully. When I came to Delhi and I went to the binding shop for the photo binding, it was a very ordinary atmosphere because you understand it's a big city and these people are not so sophisticated. They're not spiritual people. They just want to get on with binding the photo and other things. And so there were 4 or 5 people in the shop, very ordinary environment, very ordinary situation. But the moment that person unrolled this photograph, and as I'm saying, it's a busy place, everybody felt silent. And they don't know who is Aurobindo. They don't know, they have absolutely no idea. Most probably, they don't know who is Aurobindo, who is this person whose photo it is. The purpose of sharing this is that a seconds of experience is bigger than all the talks, all the practice, other things that we are doing. Because the experience has the power of giving you something that helps in transformation. And we all had these tiny bits of experience in our life. Hold on to it, because they will be the most valuable assets and guides that can help you or us, whichever way, in transforming as well as purification. Purification and transformation are the same. I would say it's just a step. Purification is a journey towards perfection, which will lead us to transformation. That is how I see. Now the question is, why to purify? Various reasons, because we can lead a complete life, even psychologically. If we are a complete person, we can live a complete life. we can attain freedom from ignorance. And what does that mean? That is something which is a very large statement. Let's say, what happens if we are ignorant? We do not, in normal life, we cannot make proper decisions. We cannot take proper decisions. We do not know what is right from wrong. So as we purify ourselves, we learn to discern, we learn to understand what is right for us. And that is what I understand by this term, attain freedom from ignorance. For example, the difference between, at a very basic level, what is good food and bad food, how it impacts our body. I'm sure at some stage of life we were not aware, but now with this, with progress in science as well as progress in so much knowledge that is disseminated, we know what is the difference between packaged food and whole organic food. And that is at knowledge level. Once the psychic awakens, we can directly understand this. Discernment comes directly without any intermediary. We can directly understand what is good for us and what is not good for us. Animals have that sense naturally till they are polluted by the humans. In the ashram scenario, I remember once what had happened is there were some cows, and by some reason, somehow they ate some poisonous grass. And the mother said it has happened because they're staying with the humans and they feel that the humans are superior to them. So the humans will always do good to them. So they have an implicit trust. And that's why she said that people who are taking care of animals will have to be very careful, because unknowingly the animal considers you as a superior being and has an implicit trust. But what we will do with all this good health, long life, proper decision making, knowledge, wisdom, what we will do with it? The ultimate purpose is that we can become the ultimate goal is that for which we are here, to become the ultimate perfect instrument of the divine. It is just like if you drive an underpowered car, you are giving your pressure, but the car is not able to translate it properly. Anybody who drives a car, underpowered car, will understand. And Bus is a very powerful car. So when we are becoming, we all receive higher forces in some form or the other, all of us here, without any exception. But the thing is, we are not aware of them. We are not conscious of them. And even after we receive, we are not able to contain them for a long time. It often happens. Any of you who has gone to Samadhi or any other places, if you have relic center, some people from abroad, if you have relic center or any other place, not only relic center, when you are in very close to nature, you must have received some higher force, which makes you peaceful, quiet, joyful, elated. But what happens is the moment we come back to normal life, which we call the usual life, humdrum life, we lose these forces. We are not able to maintain that peace and quietude which we had received. We are not so joyful. We get irritated with the normal life. And why this is happening? Because we are imperfect. We feel that the outer life, or as of now, the outer life is governing our inner well-being, which is not so. And that is what happens as we purify, we perfect ourselves. We tend to understand the different parts of us, how the different forces are acting on us, and how we can stop them from influencing us, and finally be independent. Now the question is what to purify, because what we will purify, we are all soul. We all have the soul of the psychic being which is behind us, but usually it plays a passive role. It is within us playing a passive role. It is the mind, life, and the vital which is working out the outer life. And they are not only vital is the seat of desire. This mind and vital are seat of different, I would not use the term impurities, though it has been used, I wrote it. It means defect. Let's say there are some operational defects. If there is, will you call it as impurity? No, if there is a faulty design. So that is how our physical, our mind works. And there, so it is, so where we have to, if we have to ask that where we have to work, it is at this stage that our outer life where we have to work, or these outer elements of ourselves. Now, Aurobindo wrote a very beautiful, of course, it's the chapter from Synthesis of Yoga, but a beautiful term. What he said is, when we are working on purification, we should not doctor the symptoms. That is, he says, let us not doctor the symptoms. If something is evil, let's not go to the symptoms. Let's go to the root of all that. And what is the root of all the defects and the impurities of our operations, or how we operate of our life? And he said, he summed it up. It is the separative ignorance or the ego. And the second thing is the nature of evolution, what has been till now. Because of which what happens is, and why it is, because one part has emerged from the other. First, the matter came, stone, from there, the, let's say, the vegetable life, the animal life, the mental life. My understanding of this point is that what he meant is that one part is depending on the other. If we are, one speaker was saying very beautifully, she expressed, if we are not eating on time, we are getting irritated. If we are eating something, we are getting influenced by that. Not only, and this is only, I'm talking about mind-body connection. There are so many other connections. So which means our mind is getting impacted or influenced with what is happening with the body. We all know with certain levels of, and even people who are not in yoga, with certain level of discipline and practice, people can have different levels of control over the body, similarly over the mind. Same things with vital, we will come, which is the control of impulses, control of desires. And these people need not be always in the, what we call yoga as, may not be in the form of yoga, but they have been doing or doing such practices, following such path in different walks of life. Maybe scientists, maybe athletes. Athletes have to have great discipline over their body. They normally maintain a great discipline. They exactly know what food they can eat, what food they cannot eat, because they have to be physically fit. So they have, whether they follow the, accept the divine or not, the top level athletes, they are in some form of way, they are great yogis. It's same for any genius or any people who are working on their craft. The thing is, what will be the path? Where we will be working? For each one, is there any general one or not? Aurobindo and Mother, Aurobindo and Mother never gave a general path for everyone. But Mother said something very, very interesting. Something like akin to what Jung said in psychology, that Mother used this term shadow, even Aurobindo used. And we know that in modern psychology, this term is being used in very seriously. Now, what does it mean? It means Mother spoke very specifically that each one of us has a unique set of difficulties. All the difficulties are not given to everyone, because then the person will feel overwhelmed. So this unique set is your path. So whatever difficulties have been given to each one of us, that is to rectify them, to work through them, and to overcome them is our program in this life. And to summarize, she spoke very, very specifically that this is your path. And just reflect each one of you, whatever are your difficulties, and you will see that your difficulties are, there might be some commonalities, but each one, the difficulty will be different. And be very sure, it is the divine plan that we have to work on this set of difficulties in this birth. That is why we have come for. And now I will come to the main practice part, which is the most important, for which we were here. But I thought it was always good to give some basic introduction. The second thing which I wanted to say is, while we are talking about effort, we will be talking about personal effort, knowledge, whatever we are doing, understanding. But the most important thing is, without the divine grace, purification or any other path like this, we can never achieve success. We can make our efforts, and Aurobindo said that even for Even for grace, there is a logic. Somebody asked, so divine grace can do anything. He said, yeah, it can do, but even then the grace has a logic behind its working. So the effort is necessary, but we will never succeed without the grace. But that doesn't mean that we will not make the effort, because even for grace, there has to be a logic. And the second thing is, since we are in this scenario, I will always say that if we consider life as endless, we feel, the problem is we feel that this life is finite here, which is not so. If we think that the life is endless and whatever is unfinished work, we will have to come back and do again, then the view that you take of life is very different. Even for purification, the problem, what happens is the moment we say purify, and for me, I will say, because I have strong vital tendencies, the moment first thing happens is, there will be so much I will be missing out of life. That's the problem, and that is the problem that we all face. Many of us face, I would say. There are some people who are by nature very, very sattvic, and vital is not their problem. They might have other problems, but vital challenges are not their problems. Very sattvic nature of person from their birth. But the thing is, we are talking about how we can change ourselves and not people who have already achieved that level. So let us talk about ourselves. If so, instead of using the term purification, if we use the term preparation, if we view it as a preparation of our life, then it becomes much easier. We feel that it's like a different thing. It's not that I have to purify myself within certain amount of time or something. No, it's just a preparation, how I prepare myself. I know my difficulties. I take whichever way I feel like, and I work upon them. If we consider it as a preparation, then the overall view of life changes. That is how I would say. Now, the thing is, to come back to the point, anyone who has tried to purify must have felt that it is very difficult. It is very difficult because whatever victories we win are usually temporary. Whatever defects we thought that we have overcome usually come back after a certain period of time, long or short, it has come. There are people who have overcome also, I will not say, and we will see there. But that is the problem. Before we finally overcome them, these problems tend to be nagging and coming back. First, they come when we are conscious. Then they come when we are relaxed. If you understand, suppose if somebody has a problem with food or something, when they are vigilant, they are managing. But then suppose one day that person is distracted, relaxed. Aurobindo said, you have relaxed the standard of your mind, if I'm not wrong. He said, he was writing to somebody, you have relaxed the standard of your mind and you have allowed these things in, and that is why you are having this problem, he was writing. So the same thing happens with us. Third, if not in a waking mind, they come in our dreams. Old events, something that we are afraid of, something that we thought that we've overcome, come and bother us in our dreams. Fourth problem, at times we are not aware of these dreams. If you are seeing in your dream and you remember the dream, at least you know that you are getting bothered. But if you don't remember the dream, what happens is you wake up feeling horrible. At times there will be days when we wake up feeling fresh. Of course, it's a function of good sleep, 7 hours at least, long period, good, happy sleep. But there will be, even after a long period of sleep, there will be days when we will feel that we are tired or not happy, and certain days we will feel fresh. Usually when we are not happy or tired or something, we have gone to these vital planes or these planes which have sucked out our energy, because of which we feel not good. We don't feel replenished. But to come back to these problems are repetitive because these problems come for our subconscious plane. Subconscious plane is like a bed, like a sink, which is carrying all the impressions, knowingly, unknowingly, which has happened to us. And from there, we use the term sprouting. They sprout from there. So it's like if you can see my house is there, or you can see your house, everything is clean, everything is done. But if there is some seepage, which means it's coming something below, which you are not aware of. And that is exactly what happens with our defects or the problems. They come from the subconscious plane. That is first. Second thing is, this subconscious plane, or the things that are in the subconscious plane, we will come back to that in the next time. That Aurobindo is always saying that we have to enlighten this conscious plane. What is darkness? Dark is not a thing on its own, but there is absence of light. And subconscious plane is a plane where no light has reached. Mother only in 1971, 71 is saying, and mind it, it's after 1956 to 1971, she is saying, I feel slowly as if that subconscious is little less subconscious now. I feel as if it is starting to get organized. That plane is, let's just go to the next one. So what does it contain? It is completely, first of all, disorganized. Second is the seat of inertia, fear, irrational habits, which is bothering us. That is the seat of there. Third thing is our body or matter is supported by subconscious. And that's why what happens is people have faced that those fears, those subconscious plane has more grip over our physical body than our higher state. What do I mean by that? Let's take a very simple example. Suppose we have a sickness, suppose we have some illness. In our mind, we can affirm, I will get well, or I am getting well. But it doesn't work immediately. Of course, a positive mindset helps. It's not that you have a sickness, you have a wound, you say, okay, I'm curing myself. Usually it doesn't happen. It takes the normal physical process. And why? Because the higher planes, our higher planes, do not have that much of control over our body as much as the subconscious plane has. That is how it has been. Now I will share one example. Aurobindo, and if you read Aurobindo, 12 years with Aurobindo, Nirad Baran wrote that Aurobindo never snowed. But one day he snowed, or he started snowing. And then he told Aurobindo that you had snowed. And Aurobindo was surprised. He said, did I snow? Oh, good, you told me. And Nirad Baran said, after that, he never snowed, which means he had that, of course, this is only one thing, he had that much on his higher parts. He brought that control over his subconscious. And we all know in today's modern world, those are the muscles which work involuntarily. They don't work as per our command. It is not our hand. It is not our leg over which we have. So basically, he had command over the involuntary muscles. And in traditional yoga, Hatha yoga, we have learned that people who are stopping their heartbeat, they can have stopping their lungs for a very long time, breathing process for a very long time. They have been working, they have that control over the body, which means they have put their mind, control of the mind so strong that their mind can control their body. The most important problem, key problem of the subconscious is we are not aware of its functioning. If we are knowing how it functions, if we know, let's say, and that is why I said that we manage when we are in awakened state, we can manage ourselves when we are vigilant. But when we are relaxed, when we are asleep, mostly when we are asleep, a part of us descend to subconscious. And that's why we say that we are not aware of the nights. And Mother said, the moment you start becoming aware of your nights, you start gaining knowledge about your subconscious. Second thing is I would like to say, knowledge about subconscious. What does she meant? She meant it is a part where there is no light has reached. So he said it's like a spectrum. So if you extend, she used a beautiful term, that if you extend the range of your consciousness, light will reach there. and it will no longer be subconscious, which means it will no longer be a part that you are not aware of, and you will be exactly knowing what is happening there, and you can stop things entering your conscious mind like a door. You can you can use it. You can stop the sickness or this waves of desire impulses getting inside your mind before you will get forewarning, and you can stop it there. I know people who had been practicing some of the mantras. Suppose you see a dream, and normally what happens? Normally we do not have control of ourselves. Let's say we are seeing, if I'm a protagonist in the dream, I don't have control over there. But they have a control over that because they can invoke that mantra within their sleep, and they can stop something bad happening. And they're not very advanced people. It's just by practice it can be done. So the subconscious is the depository or the impressions which have been there, and they knowingly and unknowingly alter, modify how we behave. We all know a lot of things happening in modern world, but that is how the subconscious is influencing our behavior. Now, coming to the other thing is, does it mean that is it only subconscious controls us? Are we only a being of darkness? No, it is not so. There are three occult sources of our actions. The superconscious, for very simple, the higher forces are there, the worldly forces are there, the subconscious forces are there. Only problem is we are not aware of all of them very well. In modern world, what happens is there are waves of forces that come on the universal nature, and they enter us, they influence us. Advertisement and those kind of things work on that, which means is you see an advertisement of a thing, you see a headline or something, and they create an impulse on you. The speaker from Tibet, she was speaking. I remember somebody asked her about internet and other thing, and she said that it can be used to do beautiful things like incarnate world, whereas there are darker things which are happening. The same thing. For what purpose the technology is being used? But the technology currently, largely, they are also used to manipulate. And it's not that people are doing it. This is how the forces or these dark forces are working. So what is the starting point? Let's say, what will be the starting point? The starting point is first to be aware what is happening to us. First of all, mother asked that to school children. She said, "What are you thinking?" And she is responding, "I don't know what I'm thinking." The first thing is to be aware of what is happening with us, to be conscious of the different parts of the being. Just for the sake of practice, what mother has said, what I have seen personally, she said, at the end of the day, keep some time where you review all the actions of your day. Check them against the goal that you have. And that goal does not necessarily mean that you have to realize the psychic being. Whatever goal at different stage of life you have, are your actions congruent with that goal? And she said that so many times you will figure out that sometimes you have acted consciously, that is, you took an action which is aligned with your goal, or often you have acted unconsciously because you are part of some crowd, or you did not know. Once we start understanding, and this can be done as a dynamic meditation, she used the term dynamic meditation, that is, and it said that find out your points of transformation. We can do something else. If you feel like you can contemplate, nowadays many people, and I feel journaling is also nice, that people who can write, who have an inclination to write, they can journal, they can do. Need not be anything elaborate, but just basic, just to note down. You can do voice messages because now recording is so easy. Just a voice message wherever you are yourself, you see that how you acted, or do some artwork. The basic criteria for this, as as for anything else, is to be sincere. There have been times, because in earlier days, this is what this letters on yoga is. This Nirodbaran, Sahanadi, they were writing to Aurobindo. And they were writing about desires, there are defects also. And one day, both of them, they said, we do not feel like writing today. Is it okay to write or not to write? You know everything. And then Aurobindo said, better to write. That is what. So be sincere, because this is you versus you. You will be ahead, going ahead. Better to look yourself dispassionately and see. And the most important thing is, do not judge yourself. Mother spoke about it. Mother said the first time you look at yourself, you try to dissect, you find so many dark points or so many defects. But she said, but do not judge yourself. Do not think that you are dirty, ugly, anything else. Love them. With love, transform. And what did she meant by that is that you do not put a negative pressure on yourself that I am bad, I am not capable, nothing of that sort. Rather, the moment something is coming to your view, which means this is a point of transformation, and lovingly change. She used this term, lovingly make the transformation. Aesthetic sense, I think Divyankshi also spoke very beautifully about it. It's a psychic beauty or beauty. Aesthetic sense, mother emphasized on it, and I have also felt as a practice. Refinement of senses, be it in any form, be it music, be it literature, be it film. In Patanjali Yoga Sutra, there is a term called ahar. Ahar means food. But the thing is, this food is not only physical food, this food is anything that is getting inside you. Whatever is getting inside you, which means whether physical food or the ideas, we all know if you watch some violent movie or something, you will feel not okay. Similarly, if you watch some harmonious movie, something of a nobility, courageous, love, you will feel happy. Same for music, same for other things. Even in ashram, when the children were growing up, mother requested some of these ashram young music directors that you make some music for the children so that they don't get exposed to the vulgar film music. Otherwise, so that they develop the taste and they know what is good from bad. And same thing happens. What happens is aesthetic sense, if it gets developed, it acts as a filter. Once the aesthetic sense is developed, the thing is, why mother paid attention to it is, through these negative movies, negative media, negative, let's say, newspapers, these dark forces enter into us. Now, if we are conscious, we can stop them. And mother said, there are people who can read anything without getting impacted. But, and she said, but that is somebody who is very advanced. What happens to usual people? They get influenced, they get impacted. Those fears which they are projecting, that enters our subconscious, and already such a dark place is there. It is being fed with more and more negativity, fear, skepticism, most importantly, skepticism. Whereas, if we have developed an aesthetic sense, which is like our strength and our friend, we try to tend towards, and still there are so many beautiful things in life, we try to tend towards the beauty, towards harmony, love, courage, nobility. There are still great literature being written about all these things, and we automatically tend towards them. Then what happens is, naturally, they bring the higher elements or they create a better environment. Now, this is what Aurobindo wrote very beautifully. It was, I think, a letter to Nirodbaran only, that he said that do not dwell too much with the defects of the lower nature. It is not necessary to dwell too much on the negative sides of the sadhana. And why he said is because we should be concentrated on our growth and development. Knowledge about negative side, working on them is fine. So basically, and the second thing is, Mother and Aurobindo, they were always in favor of fullness and richness of life. They did not, though they were great ascetics, but they did not propagated asceticism. And because Aurobindo has lived under severe hardship, and same for Mother, she had also lived under very severe financial hardship in the 50s and otherwise. But they never spoke, they never glorified poverty. They always believed in the richness and the fullness of life. And same when it came to purification, life, perfection, they believed in the multiplicity of a personality. They never believed that you will be showing the use that by purification, people feel that it has to be a blank inert state. It is not so. You have to attend purification in the midst of activities. You have to be perfect in the midst of this life. Otherwise, it is useless. So what I understood by reading by them is, if you ask the question, how can I be better? And how can I be better is, as Mother said it very beautifully, to speak only the necessary words is far more difficult not to speak than not to speak. So that is how I feel, that when you ask yourself, how can I be better? And it is not that I am withdrawing myself from life. No, rather, how can I be better in the midst of the activities, in the midst of these currents of life, how I can do it. So focus on growth and continue with the efforts, because it is the positive side of us. It is the positive side of us which will help to balance the defects and the imperfections. That is the purpose. It is not that we dwell in the mud or dwell with the defects. That will not help us. We know our defects, but we have to grow our positive sides, whatever is our natural skill, acumen, something that you like. Through that, the light will enter our being and it will spread and it will help to lighten up the dark rooms within us. The other most important thing is, and this is, I think, very important, do not compare yourself in the path with great yogis as well as others. And this is because of two things. That one thing is, many stories of the life of the great yogis that we read, their dark parts are eliminated. If we read about people of many of the biographies, or especially yogis, their dark parts, their doubts, their skepticism, etc., whatever they faced, they are not put as it is, because they are glorified. And second thing is, we never know after how many lifetimes they have attained that stage, after how many lifetimes of effort. So never compare. Each one of us are exactly having the state which we are supposed to be. And we have to start from there. So never compare yourself with others, especially with the life of when you read the life of the great yogis, we feel, oh, he was having great visions, he was having so much elation, he was having, maybe we could meditate 2 hours a day continuously. The question is how much effort you have put, and then you see what result you are getting. That will be a better approach. That compare yourself with yourself. So one lady who was there at ashram, she came to ashram when she was at 14. And then when she was 24, she asked Mother, that Mother, am I gaining from my presence here? Have I changed? And Mother said that, are you the same girl who came here when you were 14? She said, no. Have you improved? She said, yes. And she said, which means that you are progressing. And it is the same for all of us. If you see yourself 5 years, 7 years, 10 years back versus now, have you improved? If yes, which means you're in the right path. Physical culture. Now, the physical education, physical culture is very important for working in the subconscious. And why it is so? The first thing is the physical plane and the subconscious plane are like this. They're adjacent to each other. They work very closely. And mother said, of course, people who are in the ashram, we all know, mother has been spending, let's say 50s to early 60s. She used to spend 3 to 4 hours of her day, her busy schedule in the playground or to physical culture so that the people can get into that groove. She used a very beautiful term. She said that this is a way to fuse consciousness in our body cells. And it acts in an overall way to make the body more conscious. And she said, this is not the only way, there are others, but this acts in a general way. Even now in modern science, we see that people who had no hope in their life because of some sickness, illness, some brain problem, by doing physical exercise, they are coming back to mainstream of life. Not only that, I mean, there are 1001 benefits of physical exercise, which we all know from modern scientific point of view, but even from yogic point of view, and this is what Mother Aurobindo emphasized so much, that it makes the body to receive and contain the higher force. A stable body helps in yoga. If we read Patanjali Yoga Sutra, what are the obstructions in yoga? What are the obstacles in yoga? One of them is body. Body means sickness. He said sickness, illness is an obstruction. If we are not doing anything, how we can do? Even the basic movement that we are doing, we can do it consciously. See, I'm raising my hand, I'm clicking this mouse or something. Often what happens is we are not conscious. And Mother said, if people would have been conscious even during the ordinary activities of the day, during the physical activities, they would benefit a lot. They don't know how much they can benefit, if these are her words, how much they can benefit just by climbing the stairs. Similarly, take up some form of physical culture, whichever way you like, cycling, walking, swimming, whichever way you find, that will help to give you more control over body. Start small. If somebody is already doing very good, very nice. Somebody not doing, start small. Don't have a grand plans. Mother said grand plans fall flat. Rather, somebody who starts small and work tirelessly will get the result. Mental purification. Now, mental purification, what happens is, Aurobindo said that mind is a tool. But we human beings, we give a lot of importance to the mind. When we feel so much that mind, normally we feel that mind is the supreme, usually. But what happens is the nature of the mind is, mind can only see partial truth. Mind can see a truth from one place. Let's say, if to take a very simple example, if mind can see only the front part, it cannot see at the same time what is behind this. That is how the mind is. And that's why we have to, all our education, if we see all our education from school, college, university, whatever is there, is actually two things: to develop a rational mind, second, to widen the mind. When we are gaining knowledge, what is happening? We are widening our mind. We learn to see a problem, see anything from different aspects. And Mother said that Aurobindo had a very flexible mind. He could see each aspect completely from every point of view. That is the purpose of the mental purification. And Mother said that, there are practices. What happens is that you purposely argue as an exercise. You argue. You take one point of view. And then once that is done, you completely argue from the opposite point of view. By that, what you gain is, you gain the flexibility of mind. Now, that is for people who have been students, who are others. For us who have crossed that stage, What does it mean by gaining mental flexibility? Is to, as I said, to have the exercises to see each thing. Let's say whatever is happening. We normally said whatever is happening in media, etc. Sri Aurobindo never liked doubting or skepticism, but he used the term question. But he always wanted that people should question before accepting a thing. That questioning is an ability of widening the mind. Third thing is, if there is take up any mental activity that enriches you. Teach the mind. Most important thing is to teach the mind so that the mind realizes that it is not the supreme, it is not the final thing. Because by rational mind, by using the reason, we can reach up to a level. After that, it is only the psychic which awakens, can enlighten the mind, can illumine the mind, so that it can directly understand what is right or wrong thing to do. But Mother always said, till you reach that stage, let reason be your friend. Don't give away reason early. Vital purification, naturally, it's one of the most difficult things, especially for people who have strong vital tendencies. Now, vital purification, Mother is always saying, vital is like a child. Vital is like a child, so you have to deal with vital how you would deal with a powerful, strong child. So not to scold him, treat with love, treat with care, and reason as you would reason a child. That is what she has said. Now the thing is, called impulses. Now normally all this discussion we are having, we are talking about the things that we will make the change inside that will be reflective outside. That is how it is. But when it comes to impulses, Mother said, impulses are these forces which want to manifest in this world through you. And in this case, she said, you have to start from outside. The first thing is, do not yield to impulse. The moment you stop yielding to an impulse, first time, it will be difficult. Slowly what happens is, she said that they become weak and weak too. What does it mean? How it happens is, these forces are there. Another thing which I wanted to say, I missed it. All these defects and etc., and it's related to vital, all these defects, what we are talking, our defects, etc. Since they come from subconscious plane, often these defects, problems have been running over generations, which we call heredity. It had been running over generations. So these defects and problems, which I call my defects and problems, probably are not my defects and problems. They have been handed down to me. And Mother said, it is like a person is born, before even having started, he has so much to clean. She used this term. She exactly understood. And she said that when a person is born pure and nice, everything fine, but actually, even before that person had started to do anything of its own, he has past things to clean, which he has carried forward from the ancestors. So never get disappointed or despair that these defects are my personal defects. Often these defects have come from the subconscious. At times they are, Aurobindo is saying, general subconscious, which is part of a race, country. At times they run in the family, and they have come to you because of some purpose. Because of some purpose, this is like a question paper. It's an exam that we have to overcome. So do not despair, do not be frustrated with it. Of course, it creates trouble naturally when everybody, I remember somebody asked the question, I think, that what is the first step in purification? The first step in purification is the will to purify, I would say. This wish which has come to your mind that I want to purify is the first step of purification. And usually it is a psychic movement. Mother said all our higher movements, that we want to be better, we want to be good, we want to be pure, we want to serve divine. All these initial thoughts, these pure things, these movements, beautiful movements, they have come from psychic. What happens is, if we have a unpurified vital, unpurified physical mind, Aurobindo said, they seize the truth and they use it for their own purpose. So I will serve the divine for my own ego. I want to serve the divine so that people follow me. That is how it becomes, because vital has taken that. Vital has taken over it and using it. And that is why the purification is important. And Aurobindo said that once you purify, then before purification, if you start having experiences, it will muddle the things and it may disbalance you. Whereas purification is like creating a foundation. If you create a strong foundation, then whatever hard forces come, they can stay there, they can actually work. Now, coming back to the vital purification, Mother said, step back, do not act on any impulse, because these impulses are coming, they are not yours. They are coming from outside or from downstairs and trying to manifest themselves. Why they are coming to you? Because till now you have been a channel, right? You have been a channel, you have been their friend, that's why they come to you. Once you stop doing it, they will slowly get disappointed and leave you. That is a very simplistic way of saying, but that is overall represents the truth that is happening. Mother Aurobindo always said, do not kill the vital, because vital is very powerful. It is our life force. So there are ways that people who had killed their vital, but they have nothing else in their life and they never wanted that. They said it is not to be killed, but move the direction of the vital, make it upwards. If the vital, we have always seen this, all these beautiful movies, where we see an ordinary man, suddenly he is seized by a great idea, or he is seized by some great idea, or he is rising up to an occasion. What is happening here? The vital is getting the taste of some higher adventure. Those are great movies, great stories that we like, inspiring things. What we call as inspiring literature or movies is actually the history of vital, history of people whose vital got the taste of the higher adventure. And vital has the power. The vital has the power of just like seizing things. Like why there's children or something, they want things of their own, because their vital is not so purified. They want to grab things of their own. And same for human beings. But just like vital grabs, vital also has the power to offer itself at the altar. All these stories of great sacrifices, which we hear, noble sacrifices, like giving life for the country, for a great cause, and not necessarily life means they are getting died. They have offered their life for great causes. These are the cases where the vital got the taste of the higher adventure. They had this, and once they have that, then the vital has the power of giving everything to that one-pointed force, that one-pointed effort vital can give, tireless effort vital can give. So that is why vital is not to be killed. It is a very useful thing in yoga. It is a very useful thing in life, provided we know how to control them. A very simple trick, vital is something which is concentrated on self. Me, 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 me. So anything that moves you from self to non-self. And Mother said, 1912, she wrote an article, very beautiful. And where she said that every day try to do some work for which you have no self-interest. Start doing that. Not only daily, I'm not saying it's possible daily, whatever time you get. What happens? It's a practice to purify the vital. That time she didn't say that term. 1912, she didn't use those terms. But she was talking about oneself, that to know, understand oneself. So every day or whenever you get time, try to do something for which you have no self-interest. Now somebody may say, if somebody says, like Dilip Kumar Roy told, that I want the divine for Ananda, for joy. And Aurobindo said that seeking the divine should be without any desire. But if you want for joy, go for joy, because in the process you will get other things. So same for somebody. Somebody may say that I do not understand, which is no self-interest, but just start doing, and then not only you will get selflessness, you will get something more. The basic foundation of any sadhana has to be peace, quietude, stability. Stability means physical stability. That's why physical education, physical culture is required. If one is very sick or ill, it's difficult to do yoga or for anything in work life. I mean, we are all aware that if we are very sick or ill, we cannot lead a normal life. So look for environment, look for activities which makes you peaceful. It's a very big clue. And like Dilip Roy, once again writing about taking a page out of his letters. So he was a musician, he was a singer, and he had very strong vital. And so he was writing to Sri Aurobindo, no, I will not, I will leave music and I want to be monk and other things. And then Sri Aurobindo wrote, on the contrary, it is exactly the music which has a balancing effect on you and can lead to growth of psyche. So which means if you have found any activity which makes you, which in modern world we call satisfying, peaceful, try to do that more and more. It has a balancing effect on your personality, character, being. Mantras. If you have received any mantra, either in dream or somehow, or you have been doing it, mantras are always useful for working on the subconscious. Not always, I would say, sorry, that I will not say that. Mantras are always useful. What happens is, it is very useful to give a structure to our being. That is the right thing. It helps us to organize our being. If you love any mantra, do it, but don't go to YouTube and search and do. If you have not found a mantra, pray to Mother Sri Aurobindo, I want something. They will give you if necessary. Please don't go to YouTube and etc. search, because you might land up in wrong places. Savitri, very beautiful. Savitri, Mother is saying, has the power of transformation. I have seen myself. Before going to sleep, if you read a little bit, you will feel it nothing like Savitri that cleanses the consciousness. That is how I feel. Now, second thing is, some people may say, and which is true, even I initially did not get any taste of Savitri. Now, how I get it now, maybe 20 years back or sometime when I was reading, it took a very long time for me to get the taste of Savitri. That's fine. Read one sentence or two sentences, or there are beautiful lines. There are so many, actually, there are some lines which I had noted down, but could not speak about it. Like purification, I thought, like Sri Aurobindo said, an aim to sublime for nature's daily will. You all know about purification, but we are not courageous enough to pursue that. And like psychic awakening, I feel that all here must obey the higher law. But primarily, why we are unable to purify ourselves? Because we have different parts. Mentally, we understand that, okay, we have to do. Some other parts agree that, okay, we have to purify it. Is otherwise having a disturbing influence of life. But when it comes to actual practice, actual life, we are not able to do, because we have not been able to harmonize our life. There are different, it's like a bag of different stones. Once we are able to harmonize, which happens when the psychic awakens with our efforts, then we are able to be an integral person. Okay, so apart from Savitri, creative channeling. If there is any creative channeling, creative purpose, creative thing, and creative doesn't mean one has to paint. That Divangshi, I remember, she said a very beautiful thing. Everybody can be an artist. I would say yes, but that doesn't mean that everybody has to paint. Everybody's creative way is different. It can be cooking, it can be knitting, it can be just organizing the house. If you have known about Marie Kondo, that Japanese lady, she is taking the world by storm, but by organizing the house. everybody's creative way is different. It can be, of course, writing, painting. I'm not saying no, singing. So some form of creative channeling, that is the way how you express yourself. If there is any way, can be cleaning the house. Try to do that. It will have an impact. Influence on the lower plane from the higher ones. And that is Sri Aurobindo is saying, that mother is also saying, that do not descend to the dirt. Try to work on them from the higher planes. What does it mean? Whatever we are saying till now is the summary of that. What we are saying that, okay, read Savitri, do mantra, find out peaceful. What is happening is we are making an effort to be at a higher plane. As the influence of the higher planes, higher consciousness grows in us, the range of subconscious decreases. It's like this glass. As more and more water will come, the gap will go away. That is how it is. That is how it works. Feed the subconscious with higher ideals, love, courage, progress, hope, which we spoke about, that the food doesn't necessarily physical food, but whatever food, whatever we are, whatever you are allowing inside you. And Sri Aurobindo said that it is that subconscious plane is not only the bed of that, it has beautiful things, but rarely comes out. That is first. Second thing is, if we feed beautiful things there, then beautiful things come out. Often, if you will see, this is from Patanjali Yoga Sutra, daily, if you see that the thoughts that are coming to your mind usually are things which you have seen, heard, read during the day. Usually, I'm not saying 70 to 80% will be like that. So, which means if you see, hear, speak, listen, uplifting things as possible. We all live in modern city lives. I know it's not always possible. As possible, those things will also come out from the subconscious to you. The time before your awakened state to the when you are falling asleep. If you notice, you will see so much garbage comes out. And then mother said it is not bad. It just gives an indication to you to understand that what is happening and what work you have to do. Try to harmonize your life around your ideal. We have spoken. And most importantly is to aspire for psychic opening, because once the psychic opens, it's like everything falls into the place. Important steps we said that peace, quietude, work done in right spirit. Work is the way through which we express ourselves. Work is the way how we perfect ourselves. Otherwise, what happens is we live in an ivory tower of our created by ourselves. We don't know. Work is the way of experimentation. Whatever we are thinking, we are doing, once we start working, we figure out how far we have progressed. So work done in the right spirit is great. Prayer and aspiration. Often things will be disturbing, often things will be frustrating. And prayer is the surest friend in those days. Remember an offer. As much as possible, if we can remember, what happens is Sri Aurobindo is saying, forgetfulness is a tamasic activity. And forgetfulness means what? All of us, absolutely, all of us here, we are in this place, have had some beautiful experience. Whether it's samadhi, whether in meditation, whether in a relic center, or other way. There must be some beautiful experience which you have felt, which is very precious, or maybe in dream, very precious, very uplifting, very joyful. But in your normal life, as we lead our normal life, we have forgotten them. It happens because of tamas, we have forgotten them. If you remember them, if we can remember them, the moment we remember those experiences, beautiful, we will feel joyful, balanced, peaceful. But usually we do not remember. And Patanjali Yoga Sutra, there is a line, sloka, which says that on which we will meditate. So one of the things is any beautiful experience that you have in dream or otherwise, you can meditate on that, because that will deepen that experience. These experiences are like, they are not inert things, they are living things. They have energy. They have beautiful energy. What happens is they are submerged. Tamas, the inertness, matter is covering them. If you are able to bring that out, keep that memory fresh, it is always helpful. How we can keep the memory fresh? By practice. Forgetfulness, by having a practice, all this meditation, journal, contemplation, creative channeling, everything we are saying is taking you away from the automatic life impulses. And as you do that, it will be through practice, those memories become refreshed. The moment that memory is there, what happens is, I think that Alok said a very beautiful thing, that how would we behave if mother is standing in front of us? Or Sri Aurobindo, I will sit straight first of all. Mother and Sri Aurobindo is standing before us, how will we behave? Same thing, if that memory is alive, that memory has happened to you, that experience has happened to you, if you are aware of that at every moment, then you will say, oh, such a beautiful thing exists in life. Such beauty exists in my life. After having that, how can I say something wrong? How can I do something wrong? Or how can I behave in a very, very shallow fashion? But usually we do not have. And that is what remembering and offering does. Gratitude, mother said gratitude. Of course, it's a quality of the psychic, but gratitude, you who open the sealed doors. When everything is stopped, feeling grateful. Of course, one has to feel genuinely grateful, not for showing of others. But if we count our blessings, if we see that how grateful truly we are at this point of time, it will always deepen the presence of the forces in your being. And finally, have patience. As I said, it's not one lifetime, it's multiple lifetime. It's a very long thing to do. So have patience. I've just put a summary of these slides. We have spoken, but since we have overshot, then thank you so much.
Thanks very much, Jishnu. Actually, the slides were beautiful. If you could share them with us, we'd love to share.
Yes, I will share. I will share.
Does anyone have any questions or comments they'd like to make? Alison.
Thank you very much for your beautiful presentation. I took a lot of notes and I learned a lot. My question is, how much do you think we can do purification by ourselves as opposed to having the support of a community?
Very good question. Very important question. I thought about it, I missed saying. When you say community, good friends, satsang, good community is one of the biggest aid in purification. If you don't have good community, don't have bad community. That is very important. No, it is something, an experience lived. You have asked a very, very important question. I had thought when I was making the presentation, but somehow it missed. The thing is, satsang, what we call in India satsang, is good community is very important. This 1920 of us coming here and talking about Mother Sri Aurobindo creates a good vibration. I have seen, and as I said, that this photo I'm taking, what is happening is the moment you are in good community, good company, automatically you are getting inspired from them, they get inspired from you. You help each other. Nobody is there to pull you down. So good community is very, very important. Having said that, Mother has also said, once you will change, your circumstances will change. So suppose you are having, not only you, but I mean to say any one of you, having difficult circumstances outside, that is not having a good community. Pray to Mother sincerely, pray to higher force to sincerely to say, and Sri Ramakrishna said that suppose one has a lot of work, one is overwhelmed with work and cannot do what he wants to do in sadhana. He said, pray to the God sincerely and say, I want to do this, I want this. Or give me the things, give me the elements that are important for my sadhana or path. That will help.
Thank you.
I just want to it's a very beautiful poem by Aurobindo, Miracle of Birth. Should I read the entire one? It's small, let me just read it. It gives a very, very different perspective of life. As I said, that if you think this lifetime, it's not that. If you consider life as infinite and you have to work on these things, then it's a different perspective that we get in life. The miracle of birth. I saw my soul a traveler through time. From life to life, the cosmic ways it trod, obscure in the depths and on the heights sublime, evolving from the worm into the God. A spark of the eternal fire, it came to build a house in matter for the unborn. The inconscient sunless night received the flames, in brute seed of things, dumb and forlorn. Life stirred and thought outlined a gleaming shape, till on this dark inanimate earth could move. Born to somnambulist nature in her sleep, a thinking creature who can hope and love. Still, by slow steps, the miracle goes on. The immortal's gradual birth mid mire and stone. That is our life. It's
That's
very
beautiful. Really beautiful. Yeah. And a beautiful way to end, Jishnu. Yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone for participating. So we end for until Monday, okay? So tomorrow we have a day for reflection and contemplation. And we meet again on Monday. So look forward to that. Look forward to seeing you again. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Jishnu.